These are the various methods you can use to store your data, and they can be classified into four main types: magnetic storage, optical storage, solid-state storage, and finally cloud storage. Let's understand each storage device step by step. The story begins with magnetic storage, one of the oldest and most important ways humans have stored digital information. The earliest popular form of this was the floppy disk. These little square disks were portable, but they could only hold a few megabytes of data, which seems tiny compared to today's standards. Inside the case was a thin magnetic disk that spun, and the computer wrote data by changing tiny magnetic spots on its surface. They were slow, fragile, and easy to damage. But the big advantage at the time was convenience. For the first time, people could carry files from one computer to another in their pocket. But as of now, they have completely disappeared. Next up, we have hard disk drives. These took magnetic storage to the next level. Instead of a flimsy piece of film inside a shell, these drives used spinning platters coated with magnetic material and a small arm that moved across them to read or write data. Hard drives became the backbone of personal computers and business servers, and they're still used today. Their advantage is clear: they're cheap and can hold massive amounts of data, often several terabytes on a single drive. The disadvantage, though, is that they rely on moving parts, which makes them slower and more prone to wear and tear compared to newer storage. Magnetic tape is another fascinating part of this category. Think of it like a movie reel, but instead of images, it holds streams of data written in sequence along the tape. Accessing a specific file means winding forward or backward until you reach it, which makes it very slow for random access. But once the tape is lined up, it can transfer data quickly. The real strength of magnetic tape is its cost and capacity. It's one of the cheapest ways to store huge amounts of information. For this reason, magnetic tape is still alive today, but only in data centers and archives where massive amounts of data need to be stored as backup. The next category is optical storage. As technology advanced, lasers replaced magnets, and optical storage became the next big step. These disks work by reading tiny bumps and pits on the surface of a disk with a laser. The compact disc, or CD, was the first of these to really take off. A CD could store around 700 megabytes, which at the time felt huge. They were perfect for music albums, software, and even early games. The advantage of CDs was their portability and durability compared to floppies. The disadvantage was limited space, and over time they scratched easily, which sometimes made them unreliable. DVDs pushed things further by offering about 4.5 gigabytes of storage per disc. That opened the door for movies and much larger programs. They were faster than CDs, held more content, and became incredibly popular in the late 1990s and 2000s. But like CDs, DVDs were physical, so they could get scratched or damaged. Blu-ray discs were the next leap, holding up to 25 gigabytes on a single layer or 50 on a dual layer. They offered stunning picture quality for high-definition movies and were widely used for PlayStation games. The big advantage of Blu-ray was sheer capacity, but the downside was that players and discs were more expensive, and eventually streaming made them less relevant. After optical storage, we move on to solid-state and flash storage, which is the category that dominates today. Unlike magnetic and optical storage, solid-state devices have no moving parts. Instead, they use flash memory cells that trap tiny electrical charges to store data. This makes them faster, quieter, and more durable than older storage methods. USB flash drives were one of the first solid-state devices to become mainstream. They were small, convenient, and easy to carry, allowing people to quickly move files between computers. Their advantages are portability and reusability, but the downside is that they're very easy to lose because of their size, and cheaper ones can be slower as well. After USB, memory cards, including SD and microSD cards, quickly followed. These became standard in cameras, smartphones, and portable devices. Their small size and decent capacity made them ideal for photography and mobile storage. The advantage here is versatility and size, but they can be fragile and vary widely in speed. Solid-state drives, or SSD, brought flash memory into personal computers. Instead of using spinning disks, SSD used chips to store information, which meant nearly instant access to files. They could read and write around 500 megabytes per second, which was a huge improvement over hard drives. Their big advantages are speed, durability, and reliability, But their disadvantage used to be price. Over time, costs have dropped, making them the standard for modern laptops and desktops. Next up, we have NVMe drives. These are extremely fast, reaching speeds of 3,000 to 7,000 megabytes per second, which is incredibly useful for gamers, video editors, and professionals who work with huge files. The advantage is obvious, pure speed, while the downside is cost, although prices are dropping quickly. Finally, we arrive at cloud storage, the most modern type. Cloud storage is unique because your data doesn't live on a device you can hold. Instead, it's uploaded to multiple servers in massive data centers, and you access it over the internet. These servers usually contain racks of hard drives and solid-state drives arranged with redundancy and backups to keep everything safe. The advantages of cloud storage are convenience and accessibility. You can reach your files from any device anywhere in the world, as long as you have an internet connection. It also offers automatic backup, so you don't lose data if your device fails. The disadvantages are that you rely on your internet speed to access files, and in most cases, you have to pay for storage if you need more than a free plan. Privacy is another concern since your data lives on someone else's servers. So these were the different methods used to store digital data. If you enjoyed watching, then consider subscribing. And also check out this video where I've given an overview of all the core components of a computer. Bye.